Okay, so I'm going to illustrate with you guys using my charts what I am doing because Bitcoin and Mars stock, which both of these we're going to be speaking about today, are doing exactly what we have been anticipating over the last handful of videos. So I want to show you guys. Now we're gonna just start off with Mara, and then I'm gonna break down Bitcoin because it's really unfolding in a way that I didn't just anticipate, but it's also providing a very good trading opportunity as long as we're being patient with the setup, right? Because we're not exactly there just yet, but I'm going to break down exactly what I'm looking for. So, guys, remember, everything in this video is just my own personal opinion. I'm just sharing with you guys what I am doing. Please do your own due diligence and your own research. But so far in September, actually, if I refresh this, it'll be a little bit more accurate. Yeah, we're still up 1.26% in September. We're pretty much flat, although I anticipate a little bit more weakness for the rest of this month due to some chart structures I'm going to show you guys in a moment. So let's just keep that in mind, right? And then we're looking for a positive Q4, and I'm gonna explain to you guys why I'm still looking for a positive Q4. But I'm still gonna be trading. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm trading with still cautiousness, understanding that just because Q4 tends to be positive, especially in the last year of a bull run, doesn't mean I'm gonna go crazy with longs. I'm still focused on the price structures, and I'm not just blindly buying longs. But I want to remind you guys of this 107k, even breaking down a couple hundred below 107k. There's still some really nice liquidity, potentially acting as a potential support, but as of right now, it's looking like a magnet. And this overlaps very nicely with what I'm going to show you guys in a moment as well. So there's a few reasons for this. But to start off, Mara stock. Mara stock is, I think my microphone's too loud. I think it'll be fine. All right, so with Mara stock, right? We had a few trade opportunities. I kept saying, so if you guys look at the bigger picture, right? We've been keeping track of this ascending support line for quite a while, and then earlier this year, due to macroeconomic tensions just causing some fear, we broke below that support line for the first time in a long time, and now it's sort of acting as resistance. So, and we're still within an uptrend, although it's not super bullish, at least in the short term, and that's good because it provides even more easier to capture trade opportunities. So since we bottomed out, I mean, I gave you guys this extension area to accumulate ahead of time, with take profit being the value gap. We had another opportunity to take longs, extension area, gave that ahead of time as a take profit opportunity. And then most recently, and there was a lot of people just talking smack about how dumb this trade opportunity is. But hey, if the chart's telling me something, I'm going to express it, and I'm going to be approaching it in that way. So we had this accumulation area. So it's just another retracement. It's very, very similar to this one right here. We had an accumulation zone. As we were accumulating, we've also been taking advantage of short-term trading with longs and shorts within this sideways channel, just constantly trading within it until we finally had a breakout. If you guys remember as well, this swing low was an indicator for the uptrend being invalidated, and then if we were to break that, we can easily close the gap down to this area below $10. But that didn't happen. The uptrend stayed intact. No SLs were triggered. Instead, we had the opportunity to take profit in this short-term profit area where it's a value gap, $18 to $19, with the extension, or not extension, this retracement area also acting as resistance. Swing high up here, down to the swing low right here, creates that area. And then I said ahead of time, like, hey, as of right now, it looks like we can break higher. And then 18 and 19 being a really good take profit, and I wouldn't be greedy in that area. If you guys did so nicely, like, congrats, because we had a nice accumulation, take profit opportunity. Actually, it went just over $19, but it quickly came down Super nice. We called this ahead of time. Also, the ascending support in the bigger picture is acting as resistance, both actually three times here, here, and here. So that was really cool to see. And then I gave you guys some trade opportunities ahead of time. I said, well, at any point when we come down, we can easily find support within this simple purple retracements, just from this swing low up to the swing high. And then I gave you, once we started having this small fluctuation, I gave you guys this area in red, the first one, which is overlapping with the purple support retracement area. The purpose of this is to capture a corrective move up before we come back down. The idea, though, at the time, I don't have this drawn on there right now, but the idea was just to take profit within retracement. Yes, it went up higher, but even if anyone set limit take profits within this area, it's still really nice profit. Like I don't think anybody will be arguing about that. Um, then we let it fluctuate, and then I gave you guys this other area ahead of time, um, with the indication that, hey, just because we went up and we started creating an uptrend, we hit resistance. I wouldn't be surprised if we come down, and this is highly influenced by weakness in Bitcoin. And I kept saying, during this time, I kept saying, Bitcoin's, and I'm going to give you guys more detail on it, but Bitcoin looks like it wants to come down. It makes sense for it to come down, and this can amplify in Mara stock by pulling it down even more. Now, it's not completely correlated, but weakness in Bitcoin tends to amplify weakness in Mara stock. So I gave you guys this area ahead of time, understanding that, hey, it's very difficult to see the price go higher right now. It makes sense for it to come down, and it can come down within this area. And we came straight down into this area. The RSI has finally bottomed out. Another reason was because, if you guys remember the videos during this time, yes, it was a nice accumulation opportunity with take profit, but the RSI never bottomed out. It was high probability that it would just respect resistance and come down. And also, we've traded within this area for so long, that over a month, where it's now acting as a really important area where there's a lot of value. There's a lot of buying and selling within this area. I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and consolidate within this area once again. So right now, and this is a very, very important. I don't know how much I can stress this, but yes, we came down. Shorts were awesome. If anybody took shorts into this take profit not shorter, but lower support area down here. So the idea now is there is opportunity, and I'm not going to take it. I don't care. I'm not going to take it. The RSI could come down lower. I mean, there's still pressure in Bitcoin. We can see continued weakness after hours. It's completely possible, but we are within a support area, which means it's very simple. There is the opportunity, and this is so this can happen so quick, and a lot of the Bitcoin fluctuations that can influence tomorrow can happen overnight when the U.S. markets close. So I wouldn't even, honestly, I would just sit back and I wouldn't even take this trade, unless you have extended hours trading where you may be able to. It just depends on your position sizing, because the volume isn't that high during extended market hours. I mean, it just depends how early or late you're looking at the chart. But as of right now, it's very much possible, and it's absolutely fine to, as long as you're using a tight SL. Tight SL can even be this wick down here on the swing low at 1573 in my opinion. But I wouldn't even take this trade. But I wouldn't be surprised if the price just rallies up into, it's just, we came down so much, it can easily go up into the short-term retracement before coming down. Now, the purpose of this is to just illustrate I'm going to show you guys right now. There's a nice gap, a nice value gap right here. It doesn't have to hit it. It doesn't have to. I'll be super cautious about this. I wouldn't even take this trade. I would just let the price come down lower, because regardless, even though we're in this area, this is just a supportive area. Price can consolidate, find a little bit of stabilization within this, but regardless, I'm expecting the price to come down lower. But it could have a corrective rally upwards, around 1750 just to fill that value gap and to fill the retracement a bit, it can absolutely do that, and it can break over the 120 moving average as well, which is currently sitting around here, um, around 1668. But the idea is that we can, any push higher, I would not be overly optimistic or like hyped into any longs, because even, I'm not just because I'm expecting the price to come down a little bit more, it makes sense for us to come down more. I mean, we can, like I said, we can consolidate, stabilize within this area before we come down more. But the sooner we come down, the better. The idea is to come back and trade within these discounted range that we were at a previous time. When we see moves like this where it respects our analysis, where we're looking at accumulation and then take profit 18 to 19 is what I said on previous videos. Like for a stock that fluctuates so aggressively, like you don't want to be greedy. The price did what it had to do. Accumulation zone paid off. TP was hit. So now we're waiting for the next proper setup. So the thing is, right? Even if we go up higher, we don't have to even reach the value gap. We don't have to reach the retracement. We have these descending resistance. The RSI is starting to weaken a lot. Any corrective move higher can easily be taken back. Any move higher, just don't be hyped, because if it goes higher and you start seeing the price, trade into the high 16s or into the 17s briefly, it could be taken back very quickly. I would just sit back and wait for a better discounted buying opportunity. The idea is that the price did come down and fill the next area. It was just to remind us that the price could come down lower. Now it can continue coming down lower. So any move higher, please do not be fooled. Just do your own analysis, do your own research, your own due diligence. But mine is telling me that any move higher would just be a fake out. Just like this one right here, right? It was a fake out before it came down lower. It makes sense for us to trade within these discounted value areas that we have down here. Low 15s, high 14s. Makes a lot of sense for me. So I would just be patient with this stock. I wouldn't short right now either, just because we could have that corrective rally before going down lower. If we come up into this area, then, in my opinion, shorts would look pretty attractive. But as of right now, it's better to either let the price come down or let the price go up and take shorts. But, it's just be patient. That's pretty much all I have to say. The opportunity for a really good trade will present itself. So now, right, when it comes to, and we were kind of talking about this briefly on Discord earlier. So if you guys remember the bigger picture, or even if you guys were like just paying attention to this fluctuation, and then everyone's getting hyped up because we had a 0.25 interest rate cut, and it's like, oh, okay, well, Bitcoin has to go up. Well, September isn't over. And on top of that, I kept saying before that interest rate announcement, a lot of this is most likely factored in. We can see weakness. So we're trending up. We reached this resistance retracement area from up here. If you guys know, if you were watching, I accumulate within red supportive areas. That's where I like to accumulate, and then I take profit within retracements as long as the trend is in favor, which it is. So I also give you guys this extension area showing that the median area where the value is overlaps perfectly with the top 6 or the 0.618 at 117 or 118k. And that's exactly where we found resistance. So now, we came down, we started showing weakness, and I said, okay, well, we haven't made any lower lows yet, but it makes sense because we reached resistance. It makes sense for a retracement. So I gave you guys this supportive area ahead of time, and I backed it up with a extension support area. So this is accumulation. So we came down and we went into the actual where the overlap is. And if you guys were taking advantage of this, you would have had opportunity to sell the moment we broke into resistance. It couldn't even break the 120 moving average. I even said that ahead of time, guys. I don't say anything for no reason. I'm not trying to be biased or hyped or like fear anyone. I'm just being realistic with these charts, right? So what we had was an accumulation opportunity, small gap, but I said ahead of time, like, hey, if we do go up, the moment we hit the retracement area to take profit, it's a good idea to take profit because chances are it will not surpass the 120 moving average, because on the bigger picture, right? Because that's what happens, right? When you look at the bigger picture, you get a better idea of what's going on. So if you guys like, if you guys like wave structures, I mean, after seeing such an aggressive move higher, and we took advantage of all of this super well as well. I mean, we called out tops very nicely. We called out accumulation areas nicely. This one was really nice. But the thing is, right, if you look at the bigger picture, like wave structures, like we had a corrective move down. Wasn't enough to actually factor in the whole move, but it was enough to capture a corrective move. So we pumped up straight into the take profit zone. Then after that, we came down into retracement, an extension area to back up the retracement. So accumulation, we take profit, and now to finish this final wave down, we're just seeing that one more low that could potentially unfold. Now the reason I'm leaning more towards this wave unfolding as a lower low is because, well, this is a simple retracement right here in red. If there was enough bullish momentum, and I wasn't expecting there was, that's why I was taking it, that's why I was so strict on this, resistance area in the short term. And like, it's all part of like the overall, Bitcoin is still considered a risk on asset. It's still a growth asset. It's just how it's considered right now, I believe still. So there's no reason to like treat it too differently than a lot of other assets. So we came down, we couldn't actually hold support within this area, and breaking below 111.3k just means that there's a lot of bearish momentum and we'll most likely see lower prices. Now that doesn't mean we can't see a little bit of a corrective move. I mean, you guys can keep track of a short-term resistance. This will fall in line more with the 120 moving average, or you can just keep track of like a more significant retracement, still falls in line with the 120 moving average. So any move higher can also just be a fake out like in Mara stock. But the idea is that unless we have bullish confirmation, which is higher highs and higher lows, consistently trending above the 120 moving average, and then also respecting resistances created by respecting, I mean like holding within them, but actually breaking out of them. We'll need to see enough of that. We'll need to see enough of that because we still have a lot of value gaps acting as resistance. We have a lot of these other structures creating resistances. There's just no reason to be overly optimistic in the long term, or in the long for long positions. I still expect Bitcoin to be much higher this year, but we got to finish this corrective move. So what I have here for you guys, and I give you guys this ahead of time as well, we have this purple deep value area, short-term deep value. It falls in line perfectly with one more low. And this red area, I can also even give you guys, I can do this so we can really factor in the whole move. It shows that we can see a little bit more consolidation within this area, but potentially still allow the price to come down further into this. I do not care though. I do not care about, because 107k, we already saw that there's a lot of potential support there. I don't care about these much lower prices, because even if I open a swing trade at 107k and add more if it goes to like 106, 105, is because, and respecting this area a bit more, and I'm giving you guys this ahead of time, understanding there's still some more downside pressure. Any bullish move right now can just be a fake out. It can just be a corrective move. There's some value gaps there as well before we can come down lower and finish this correction finally. But the idea here is that unless we have bullish confirmation, which will take a minute to unfold, this isn't something we'll really get like by the end of this week. So the view is still for lower prices. This can amplify Mara to also come down further into a much more attractive buying opportunity. So I'm not like real short-term bullish on Mara or anything like that. But the idea is that if we can come down into this purple deep value area, 107k and below, this is an overlapping area. At the moment, this may I may update this as the price continues to trend, but this is just an area I'm keeping an eye on at the moment. So the moment we break below into this purple area, the amount of time we can trade within this area can be very short. I'm not going to be taking 107k and below very lightly. I mean, we can maximize this area. We absolutely could. Even the extension I showed earlier shows that I can maximize this area. We can come all the way down into the low 90s. And I understand that it's very much possible. But every time we trade within this area, it's very, very short lived. This one just bounced off of it. We had another one back here that I can't really show you, but we had 3 chances back there. This was the most recent one. But now there may be an opportunity to capture another deep value, short-term deep value opportunity to acquire longs, and that's how I'm going to be approaching it. So as of right now, I don't have any long Bitcoin exposure for the short term. I'm just waiting for the price to come down a bit more or have bullish confirmation. I'll get in. But as of right now, because of the bigger picture trend, a really good buying opportunity will be, below 107k, and I'll just continue to add below 107k because the recovery can be very quick, especially with Q4 coming up soon. And then before I even ended, on top of that, during this time, there's always good opportunities to trade the VIX with like UVXY. I'm also looking at a potential S&P trade soon. If we can trade below the 120 moving average on the S&P on the hourly chart, I may open up some S&P 500 trades as well, just because why not? It's decent. I can, below 100, the 120 moving average, there's a possibility of me being able to capture like a little like 1 to 3% return on a little swing trade. I mean, it's pretty nice. That's just something I'm not sure if I'm gonna do yet, but I'm just keeping an eye on it as well. And then we'll talk about MSTR soon, because I kept saying there's weakness, it can come down into this area, and it did. That doesn't mean it's already a good buying opportunity, but I'm gonna give you guys an update on this soon as well. But yeah, Mara, any pump can just fall weak. I'm expecting lower prices on this overall. And then for Bitcoin, as of right now, I'm still expecting lower prices. I mean, there's short-term resistances that allow the price to have a corrective move higher, try to hit that 120 moving average, but the overall trend is still down. And then once we get that nice discounted buying opportunity below 170k is when I'll be looking at another long swing trade from there. And when I do, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, so far we've been kicking butt basically. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll keep you guys updated.